Hello Maria, it's your Uncle Grandpa again, and today I have a book called Mickey Mouse. Let's go to the firehouse. Oh, and before I forget, don't forget, on the very front of your book is a little charm necklace for you. Okay, let's start. Page 1. "Let's paint stripes on the old engine," Huey exclaimed. Mickey Mouse laughed. laughed. "Hold it," he said. "We still want it to look like a fire truck." Mickey was on his way to the firehouse with Donald Duck's nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie. They had offered to decorate an antique fire engine for the town day parade the next day. Page 3. "Uncle Donald is working on a top-secret parade float," said Louie. "He won't let us see it." "Don't worry," Mickey answered. "Our fine old engine will be the pride of the parade." Mickey and the others arrived just in time to see their friend Goofy slide down the brass pole in the middle of the firehouse. There's Goofy sliding down. "Hiya, gang," said Goofy. "Goofy is a junior volunteer just like me," Mickey told the boys as he leaned over to pat a friendly Dalmatian. "This is Freckles, the firehouse mascot." Turn the page. And there we see the two big beautiful fire engines. And it says, "Does this truck still work?" asked one of the boys. Mickey nodded. "Yes, it works. But it's not as fast nor as powerful as the newer engines. Now we just use it for parades." Turn the page. "It must be hard work being a firefighter," said Louie. "It sure is," Goofy responded proudly. "Do you remember when a big hotel caught fire? We had to rescue about 20 people. I even saved Mrs. Porter's parakeet." That's Mrs. Porter's parakeet. Next page. "Gosh, Goofy," said Mickey. "If I remember right, the regular firefighters rescued the parakeet. They just gave it to you to hold." "But I was a big help," Goofy insisted. "I went and found Mrs. Porter and gave her back her bird." And there's Goofy giving back Mrs. Porter her bird. Next page. Then Goofy changed the subject. "I'll tell you another story, boys," he said. "A couple of years ago, there was a big fire in the park outside town." "What happened?" the boys asked eagerly. Next page. "A campfire roared out of control," said Goofy, "but I rushed boldly into the forest. That night we saved the woods from being burnt to the ground." "I remember that night," said Mickey. "It was cold. You and I passed blankets out to the campers. I don't remember doing much else." There's them passing out the blankets. Goofy looked embarrassed. After that, he didn't tell any more stories. He and the others finally finished decorating the engine and headed home together. Everybody looked forward to the next day, the day of the big parade. The following day, the whole town turned out to watch the parade. The antique truck led the way, with Mickey at the wheel. The boys were allowed to ride in the back with Goofy. There's Mickey. And the steering wheel and the old antique fire engine in the parade. Next page. We're going to win the blue ribbon for best parade entry," said Huey. He looked back over his shoulder, and Uncle Donald's float doesn't have a chance. Donald's float was just behind the fire engine. There's Donald's float. He had mounted a spaceship on his old pickup truck. That's the spaceship right there. "Hey, Donald," someone called from the crowd. "Is that a real rocket ship?" "Almost," Donald said proudly. "Get a look. My float is going to send the judges to the moon." Donald drove his wobbly rocket down the street and sparks were flying everywhere. Next page. Suddenly the rocket caught fire, and within seconds the whole float was in flames. "Help!" squawked Donald. "Fire!" "I'll save you," Goofy cried. As Mickey pulled to a stop, Goofy jumped off the fire truck. He grabbed one of the old engine horses and hooked it to a nearby hydrant. There's the hydrant and the hose, where the water comes out, right here. Then Goofy began spraying Donald's float with water, and before long, the fire was completely out. You can see the water going on the fire. And I'm about to go out. Next page. Goofy was a hero at last. During the award ceremony after the parade, the mayor asked him to come forward. "Goofy, I'd like you to accept this blue ribbon with our thanks," said the mayor. "You were very brave today. In fact, you are the bravest junior volunteer who ever held a hose." The end. Hope you enjoyed the story. Bye.